Hey, this is Q, that home loan dude, and today we're going to go behind the scenes of assessing a first home buyer's ability to borrow money. So let's go. That home loan dude. So right off the bat, this client booked a call with me today. Today is the 29th of January, and the client says, yes, as long as the names and address and account numbers are blurred out, I love sharing my scenarios. So just to FYI, for those who book a call with me, either a 15-minute or 60-minute call, I do ask for your permission whether I can share this to the first home buyers and first-time investors that follow me. So again, I respect your privacy, and confidentiality is at the top of my list, and I respect that. But for this person, they're happy to share. So let's get cracking on what this person is looking at doing and whether this person can achieve it. And I'm having this call with this person in about an hour's time. So let's check it out before I speak to this person. Okay, so let's go through the fact find of this, what this person has filled out. And obviously this person found me on TikTok. Age is 26 to 34, which is typically the first home buyers that contact me. And Australian citizen, is in New South Wales and is married. Obviously, I blurred out all the confidential information, so you don't know who this person is, but we're sharing this person's real scenario with you so you can apply it to your situation. This person has one kid, so let's jot this over here in my notebook over here. So you have one person and that other person, and plus they have one child, right? So that obviously changes the dynamic of the borrowing capacity, as those who follow my videos would realize that having one child in the mix in terms of borrowing capacity reduces around 100 to 150K of borrowing power. Not good, but that's the way the banks assess it. I'm not the bank. I'm the person in between negotiating with the 25 to 35 banks that I have on my panel. So let's keep going. It's a first home buyer, which is about 80% of people who contact me are first home buyers who, follow my content. Obviously, a bit of a plug over here. I'm the most followed mortgage broker on TikTok at the moment with 55,000 followers. And the person at the moment is looking at purchasing a new home as a first home buyer and just getting an overview about their situation with my 15 years experience. What's my take on them? So the top priorities of this person before I speak to a client, I always say, hey, what's your top priority, right? She's like, or he's like, become a house owner. Okay, that's very honorable. That's like 80 to 90% of what people want to do. Currently on $23,000. So one person is on 23K and the other person is on zeros. So I'm getting a bit of alarm bells here, red flags. Would the income be enough to purchase in New South Wales? That's my biggest concern. All right. So maybe there might be a typo. Maybe the partner will be on $150,000. They have 100K of savings. So savings is 100 Gs. So that's good. That covers the deposit. And if they go for the first home guarantee scheme, guys, which if you're in New South Wales, if you buy up to 800K, you do not need to pay stamp duty. And also, if you earn collectively as a couple under $220,000, you can qualify for the first home guarantee scheme, which allows you to borrow up to 95%, no mortgage insurance. Now the savings over here, as you guys can see over here, is 100 Gs. So 100 Gs, not necessarily you need to gear it up to 95%, maybe 85 to even 90%, depending on where the budget in terms of what they want to buy. So not necessarily they might need to take advantage of that scheme, but again, it boils down to whether they can even service the loan. Can't service the loan, 95% of something. The government doesn't give you the property. Say, for example, this person wanted $1 million. The government doesn't give you $950,000 or $995,000 and go, here you go. No, you got to prove you can service. So my concern with this person at 23K, maybe you can only service the loan up to 100 Gs. So you get 95% of 100 Gs. I'll elaborate what that means as we go along. And then this person is currently renting at the moment. They are paying $530 a week in rent. That's huge. You can be paying off a mortgage at the moment. And then their living expenses are okay. $3,000, under $3,500, that's okay. And they have never defaulted. They don't know what their credit score is, which if they list me as their broker, I will help them find out what their credit score is. Because what we like to do is we like to know what the bank would know about their credit score before the bank even looks at their assessment, because we do that behind the scenes so we can proactively add notes, explain, sell the deal to the bank. This person is fairly urgent. Obviously, they booked a call with me this week. They had a bad experience with my fellow colleagues, fellow brokers, fellow bankers have tarred this person, and I really respect this person for reaching out to me, which is sort of like another mortgage broker, but I guess they've been following my content. A lot of trust has been developed here, so thank you again for contacting me. Biggest pain point, whoa, a lot. I hate that my income is too low. I don't see my future income growing at all. The property purchase is very confusing. I lack the knowledge of where to buy, which obviously I can give you my 2 cents or introduce a buyer's agent to this person. I don't feel I have the proper strategy for wealth planning. A lot of first home buyers, first time investors fall into this category. So it's very common, guys. So don't feel like you're left out. And the reason why this person reached out, love the transparency. Obviously, I do a lot of videos, entertainment. I would call them edutainment, like entertainment, but edutainment. I educate, plus I entertain. So I don't just bore you with financy, jargony videos because they can be quite dry. And obviously my work ethic, because I've been showing up every single day. As you follow my TikToks, every day there's a video, and also on YouTube every week there'll be videos. So thank you for watching, guys. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification button if you want to stay tuned with these type of videos. Obviously this person, a lot of people suss me out, it's 3 months to suss me out before call. And I have a free mini course, which you guys can also check out in my bio, and this person's digging it, so they can go and subscribe and sign up to the free course. And also, very bad into the game. That's the situation of this person. When I ask, what's your motivation behind contacting me? I'm brand new to the property purchasing game. I don't need that simple and stress-free, holistic project management that I offer and my team offers. And again, this person, when they contacted me, they obviously checked me out, sussed my street cred, a lot of testimonials on Google reviews, which they can check out. I'm also mentioned by a lot of media sources, Channel 7, Daily Mail, have written articles about my edutainment finance videos. So obviously there's a bit of street cred. So all in all, let's jump into the borrowing capacity of this person, whether this person can get that house when I jump on the call with them. So guys, jumping into my Dat Home Loan Dude prototype calculator, obviously I use a real bank's calculator, but for this video, I've got to show you a prototype because I don't want to get in trouble with disclosing what the real bank's calculator is. But this calculator is very, very similar. I got it built by one of my colleagues who work as a software engineer and has been kindly enough to do this for me, obviously for a fee, which obviously I happily paid because I want to show this behind the scene to you. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. As you can see, guys, one of the person is on 23K, and I use John and Mary just for aliases, obviously not the real persons. They're in the same family group. So I don't know, John, Mary, I don't know who it is. When I get on the phone call, I'll see who the person is earning 23K. The other person is not earning any money. I don't know whether they have sad student loans. Next, I just randomly put in 150K at an actual rate of 6.5. Actually, rate's a bit cheaper for owner occupiers, but I like to be very conservative. The assessment rate is kind of higher, as you can see over here. And I'm just making sure that these screens correlate, because sometimes I keep going and I don't really know that the screens correlate to what is being recorded. So sorry for my previous videos if I keep talking and I'm like, oh, the screen's not even there, because I'm seeing this, but it might not match what's on the computer. So I'll be conscious about that. And also looking here, I put in 2 adults, 1 child. I put in their living expenses, which is what they said, around 3,700. Very typical for 2 adults and 1 child. And they don't have any debts, or no mortgage, no credit cards, no nothing. And I don't know whether they have HECS, so I'm not sure. As you can see here, it doesn't service, which means they can't even get $150,000. Like, even if I would like put 50 grand, if I put 50 grand, doesn't even service. Reason being, 23K is very, very low, guys. 23K is like the lowest income you can get. So hopefully when I jump on the phone call with this person, they will tell me, oh, sorry, there was a bit of typo. I meant that I was on 73, or maybe my partner's on 50K or whatever. But let's play with that scenario, because obviously this video would be sort of unhelpful if you're like, oh, she can't service, or that person can't service. So like, how do I apply that in my situation? Let's just apply a different scenario. And hypothetically, what I usually do on these calls where we develop a game plan for this client is, okay, well, you have 23K. That's the reality. Your partner, whatever, doesn't work, right? Whatever, is trying to get into the workforce. Okay, they'll be like, right, cool. That's not the end of the world, because, okay, I'll reverse engineer what you want to buy, and I'll tell you the income you need to aim for to get to there. So let's just say, hitting my notebooks again, this person in the timeline over here, and hopefully you can see this. So let's just say this person wants to buy a $800,000 property, right? Which is pretty standard in New South Wales, right? $800,000 property, there's no stamp duty, and then you apply for the first home guarantee scheme, which is up to 900 Gs. But let's say they say under 800 because they want to save on stamp duty, which could be $30,000, $40,000. And if they have 100K, you already lost 30, 40 Gs, you only got 60K to play with. So let's stick with that. And they have about 23K income. Partner doesn't work for whatever reason. And then what happens is, let's go over here and say, well, this person is like, I don't know, on 50 Gs. This person could get like up to 90 Gs. Maybe they're graduating, maybe they're whatever. Obviously, you notice the living expenses spark up and go, ooh, the living expenses disclosed for these people at the moment are not matching up. So let's just say, let's just bump it up by another 1,000. And then living expenses are like, okay, obviously many banks have different living expenses. I put my average just to make sure that I'm not under disclosing their living expenses. And guys, I'm not a type of person or broker or bank out there that would muck around with figures just to get the deal across the line. You know, some people, they under declare just to get the deal done. I don't like that because the loan that you get is a 30-year mortgage. So what happens is, I don't want to be unscrupulous by trying to do some shady stuff to get you the loan, but then you can't really manage it because your living expenses are way over the board or we're under declaring it. And what happens is, in the next 6 or 12 months or even 2 years, you default or you go into arrears. And who ends up being blamed? Myself. And I plan to be here for the next 100 years. Well, probably not. I'm 40. So, or the next 20 years at least, and to run a viable business. I have a small family business. So I don't want to do that kind of stuff. And I usually tell people straight to the face, and they go, oh, well, I'll go to somewhere else. I'll go to blah, blah, blah. You could do it. Fine, go do that. I'm not going to do that because I want to uphold to responsible lending. I want to make sure the buffers set by the banks is the buffers that you can pass or not pass, right? They set a buffer for a reason. They set a benchmark for a reason. Yes, it's like 9.5% or 10% that they're assessing you at, rather than the actual interest rates around 6 to 6.5. And you're like, hey, you know, why are they putting those nanny buffers on me? Well, they do that to protect you. Again, a bit of a tangent, a bit of a rant, but let's go back to this scenario. So 50/90, applying the average living expenses for them. Let's just pump in, let's just say, turning on my calculator over here. Let's just say they want to buy something for, let's just say not 800. Let's just say hope to buy something for 700, okay, something reasonable. And they have 100 Gs. And obviously we can apply it straight away. They're borrowing 600 Gs because there's no stamp duty and there's no mortgage insurance because they're earning under $220,000. So what happens is, applying the same defaults, yada, yada, 50-50 ownership, you know, 2 adults, 1 kid, no credit card, doesn't service, but it's close. It's close. If they go, hey, well, can you maybe earn $60,000? Obviously this bumps up, but let's not change it, right? Let's just say that the limit expense of 4,700 is quite reasonable. And at its services, it says green. So what happens is, based on those metrics, you see that a $600,000 loan is achievable if they earn $150,000 in total. And then at this moment, we will plan out a game plan. You've got 2 limiting factors stopping you from purchasing. When I say to first home buyers in general, right? It's the deposit and the borrowing capacity. All right, the deposit you have. So kudos to that. So either you can put in a less amount of deposit because you don't necessarily need to put in 100 Gs unless you want to borrow 600K, but you can put less because you can do the 5%, no mortgage insurance, 95% from the bank first home guarantee scheme. That's one factor, but let's say that's addressed. The deposit side is this. That's 50% of the game plan. The limiting factor of you getting into the market, deposit. This person has it. Second thing is borrowing capacity. Well, currently you told me you're on, let's get rid of this, 25 Gs. You're on bloody 25 Gs here. Let's expand that. Why didn't I could expand this? I'm loading as we go, guys. All right, anyway. So this person says they're on 25 Gs, 23 Gs. That's not probably part-time mom, whatever it is. I feel really scared if it's really already like 25 Gs. You got 2 adults, 1 child. So basically you have 2 dependents and you're on 25 Gs. Like seriously, I think that's a typo, but let's assume they are in that situation, they're living with their mums, whatever it is, they need to work towards a $150,000 income. The next thing I'll say to them, guys, is like, is that even reasonable? Is that reasonable? You're coming from a 23G, your partner doesn't work, and suddenly, boom, in like 6 months, you guys are on collectively $150,000 income. On a scale of 1 to 10, is that reasonable? Usually able to say 3 out of 10, not reasonable. Or maybe, hey, I just had a kid, I'm on maternity leave, I'm coming back to work in 2 months' time. Okay, cool. Oh, my partner is like redundancy. He's transitioning from work, but he will get the 800, the 90, the 100K income. Okay, that's cool. I love to hear that kind of stuff. And then the next step forward is, okay, well, when in the timeline, when I talk to them, is you will get over here, the timeline. Where in the timeline over here, and sorry for the blurriness, it's just, yuck. I promise you guys, if you hit this YouTube channel in terms of followers, I heard like, I would say maybe 5K followers, subscribers, I'll get a new webcam. Otherwise, it doesn't reward my investment. It is what it is at the moment. Like, so you have the bloody timeline, and then, well, when can your maternity leave come back? Like, when are you back from maternity leave? Have you found a daycare for your kid? Maybe your kid is only like 6 months old. The next thing is, well, when would your partner start the new job? And they're like, oh, well, 2 months. Then maybe in 2 months' time, we'll have a chat again. Even if it's today, that's great. You know, a lot of you guys think, oh, if you start a new job, you got to wait for 3 months probation. Not necessarily true. There are certain banks that waive probation, waive 3 months salaries. You can have one pay slip or employment letter and you can get going straight away. We just need to prove that that person has industry experience from the prior job and there wasn't a big gap in between. Let's just say those metrics are met. What happens is I can start getting them a pre-approval with many banks that I have. And then from there, just to lower the screen over here, from there, we can then reassess what their situation is to see what they can borrow. Because obviously, I'm saying this today in January, but they might come back in February or March or April. And depending on whether the RBA has risen rates or changed things around, or even the banks raise rates without the RBA raising rates, because that's also a normal occurrence, that changes borrowing capacity. Every time they raise rates by 0.25, you lose $30,000 to $40,000 of borrowing capacity. So guys, firstly, from this video, it goes straight to the bone how this first home buyer, through a game plan like this, can meet their goals. It's not the end of the world, guys. You just need a strategy in place, and obviously a person like myself to cheer you on, hold you accountable that, okay, you need to do X, Y, and Z to get to where you want. And sometimes you need a bit of a hard tool. Oh, I want to buy $1 million property. Serious? You want to buy $1 million property and you're on 23 Gs with 100 Gs a deposit? Pam, that isn't possible, guys. Not in New South Wales. We're the most expensive city in the whole freaking world, all right? We're like the second most expensive city in the whole world. That isn't possible, guys. So you got to be realistic. Okay, oh, maybe 500, 600. Oh, it's like a shoebox. Hey, that's what you can afford. It's not a shoebox, right? A lot of people live in, if you think people living in apartments around 600, 500, 600 is a shoebox, man, your ego is up here. You got to come down from Mars to Earth and realize that is the first step. It's not going to be what you're going to be in the next 30 years. You got to think, who am I going to become? I'm going to become X, Y, and Z. You're not going to be the person you are in the next 30 years. You got to evolve. So guys, hopefully this presentation in what I've done here for this client has given you a bit of insight of what you can apply in your situation. Ideally, if you want to reach out, you can go to my bio link and book a 15-minute or 16-minute call. If you want more information about how to get into a home loan safely and how to accumulate more properties, but you're not in the income or deposit stage, I do recommend you to get a copy of my book over here. Yeah, it's a plug, but hey, this is my YouTube channel, so whatever. And a lot of people have read this book, right? I'm not just like, oh, I've got a YouTube channel, let's release this book. No, this book was written in 2017. I have an audio of this book. This book has been read by 1,000 clients, savvy investors to new beginners. They love it. Read the reviews on Audible and Spotify. They love it. And hopefully this book could bring you more clarity. And obviously if you book a call with me, you get this book for free through a e-copy. So guys, until then, I'll see you in the next video. Hit the subscribe button, share it to your mates, colleagues, family, and friends. Blow up this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, I guess. Like, share, comment, whatever. See ya.